This is the black emu green faux leather. Black emu green faux leather. So it's supposed to mimic emu skin. So it has sort of an overall kind of dotted effect to it, but it's mimicking that skin. So this is a black, I would call it, I wouldn't say it's a 100% matte finish. It has a low sheen to it, particularly on the dotted impressions there. The impression on this vinyl is very minimal. It's very, very low. I wanted to show you, so this is the edge. So that edge, you can see how that's going to be. So that would need to be trimmed off, but you can see how that is. And the backing is a gray felt. Okay, so this is a really soft vinyl. It has a very slight tackiness, very, very slight to the surface of this. It is a beautiful black without being solid because of the texture on it. So it's it'd be a very versatile black faux vinyl on this, and really, really soft, feels good. And let's see how it folds. So here's the edge. Yep, very, very minimal on the density. It's very, very soft. You can easily feel my fingernail. I'm going to fold it over. It folds over so easy. And again, I can feel my fingernails with no problem. If I go to 3, now I'm starting to have a little cushion, but I can still clearly feel my fingernail right through it. Okay, so let's put right sides together. Because of that slight tackiness on the surface, there is a little bit of grip, but so it's not resisting, but it will move with a light pressure. Now you put a heavier pressure and it's still going to move a little bit, so definitely a walking foot type of thing is going to be needed on this. So let's look at the stretch. So on the short cut edge, basically no stretch there, and on the long edge cut there is stretch. There's a stretch to a point and then it stops. It doesn't feel like it wants to stretch out like a rubbery. Some vinyls have that sensation that you could just keep pulling. This one seems to stretch and then is done. So if we fold and then fold again. So let's see on the first fold, let's see, really nice tight fold, and if you did a top stitch there, it would be very nice and tight flat. You can see how flat that can get right there because of it doesn't have any density in this vinyl. And then if we go 4 times, you can still get a fairly flat fold there. So that's how it would do on the 4 folds. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to scrape my fingernail pretty hard here on the corner and see what happens. Okay, so if you can see my fingernail, it's catching, and then you can see a little bit of bubbly right there, and I had a feeling it would do that based on this being here, right? Because you can see how thin that is. And that just means, it doesn't mean that it's a bad vinyl. It just means you need to choose what it is you want to do. As with any other vinyl, you need to choose the right project. So because as you can see, and you don't want this to be against maybe some metal hardware that is going to be rubbing on this over and over time. It will deteriorate this with that metal abrasion on there, so keep that in mind because of what's happening here. But it has a really nice feel. It would look really nice as a wallet on most surfaces of a bag. It could also, because it's so soft, and the flexibility here and the low density, it would make some really nice if you could make your own piping with this, that would be really pretty. So this is the Emu, the black Emu faux vinyl.